What if I don't want nothing to be said? Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our SWAC Football Head Coaches Media Session for Tuesday, September the 2nd. Schedule for today will go as follows. We'll begin at approximately 10:05 with Alabama A&M head coach Sam Shade. He'll be followed by Alabama State's Eddie Robinson from 10:15 to 10:25. Coach Cedric Thomas with Alcorn State will join us at 10:25. Coach Raymond Woody with Bethune-Cookman will join us at 10:35. Coach James Colsey, Florida A&M, will be at 10:45. Coach Mickey Joseph with Grambling State will be at 10:55. Coach Alonzo Hampton, Arkansas Pine Bluff, will join us at 11:05. Coach Buckley with Mississippi Valley State will be at 11:15. Coach Tremaine Jackson from Prairie View A&M will be at 11:25. Coach Terrence Graves with Southern University will be at 11:35. Coach Chris Dishman with Texas Southern will be at 11:45. Coach T.C. Taylor with Jackson State will join us at 11:55. Couple quick announcements. We do want to remind all of our media participants, if you do have questions for our coaches, quick announcement, we do ask our media, if you do have questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. If you do see that there are additional questions in the queue, we ask you please limit your questions to one initial question. Feel free to re-raise your hand. If we've got additional time allotted in our coaches' availability, but we'll work our way back to get additional questions answered. Please wait to be called upon prior to asking your question. And please ensure that your line is actively muted unless you are actively asking a question to our coaches. We'll be back here in a few minutes. We appreciate your patience.
I told him in the future, like Hardy said, moved up there.
All right, we do apologize for the delay. We're working to get Coach Shade here on with us, so we'll be back as soon as we're able to make contact with him. We appreciate your patience. All right, I do see we have Coach Shade with us. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, thank you for taking some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's season opener this past week.
Well, we traveled out to Fayetteville, Arkansas, and actually, started off pretty good. Uh, Ball game was 10-7 into the first quarter, going into the second quarter, and actually ended up 17-7 with around 3 minutes left in the second quarter. And we were doing some good things. Obviously, they were doing some good things also, but after that 3 minute mark, we gave up two touchdowns before halftime that, really, changed the game around. Our guys came out and, we played physical and tried to match them as far as what they brought to the table. But, at the end of the day, you can't make mistakes, and you've got to execute against an SEC team or a Power Four team like Arkansas. And we didn't do that. The score the score at the end of the game didn't really indicate how the game went. And the lessons that we took from that game are going to help us as we move forward throughout this season.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Hey, Coach Shade, how's it going this morning?
Going pretty good, man. I hope you guys had a really good Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, it was great, and it was really good watching you guys. So, my question for you, as you guys get ready for the game against Alcorn this Saturday, uh, what what things did you see from offense and defense that you guys think you did in the Arkansas game that'll help you moving forward into this game on Saturday night?
Well, we did some good things, particularly early on. They scored first. They kick off to us, and we go 75 yards down the field. We have really good execution, no penalties, and things like that. But then after that, that's where we start having procedure penalties, and we get a block in the back by one of our receivers on a big play when the score was 10-7, where we actually felt like if we don't get that penalty, we got a chance to. If we don't get 7 and make it 14-10, we get a field goal to tie the game up at 10. So the things we took out of that ball game is we've got to execute better, and we can't have penalties and things that are gonna, we can't self-inflict wounds on ourselves as a football team, and we feel like we're going to work on that this week and get better in those areas.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck against Alcorn.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. In that same vein, how do you evaluate yourself in a matchup like that? What are you looking for, particularly in the film? And then the follow-up question that goes on that is, how do you utilize when you're looking at certain things that you go about in terms of this next matchup, which is intriguing because it's a conference matchup, but it's a non-conference game?
Well, the first thing is going into the ball game. I told our team, I said, look, people call this a money game, but I called it an opportunity game, for our players, because, I told our players, I said, look, we went through, they went through all season workouts. We went through all season workouts. They went through spring ball. We went through spring ball. They went through summer camp. We went through summer camp and training camp. So, I've got guys on this team that have, talked to me about, possibilities of playing after college, playing professional ball. And, for those guys, I said, hey, this is an opportunity for you guys. And then, some of our guys felt like they should have been recruited maybe by some bigger schools. And so we looked at it as an opportunity. And as a coaching staff, what we wanted to get out of it, we wanted to see great effort out of our guys. We wanted to see execution, guys, being able to do it in a hostile environment and in a loud, big stadium. And so those are some of the things we were looking for. We were looking for how is our conditioning compared to theirs? Just a lot of things that you can take out of that game. And, like I said, we learned a lot. And so moving forward to Alcorn, you look at Alcorn, they lost a tough game on Thursday night, had a chance to watch some of that on Thursday night, and, just thought that they left some plays out there, but I'm quite sure they're thinking like we're thinking, saying they've got to come out and execute and not have some of the mistakes that we both had in our first ball games.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Thank you.
Coach Shay, how you doing this morning?
Oh man, I'm doing pretty good.
All right. I want to talk to you about your weak side linebacker, wide right. 7 tackles, 3 solo, 2 sacks, and 2 tackle for losses. What do you see about him that you feel like he can actually add to your defense for the game against Alcorn?
Well, we feel like Wyatt is going to really continue to develop and grow as the season goes on. He's a young man that actually he didn't join our ball club until the end of July for training camp because obviously he had been at another program and got in the portal. And when we watched him, we felt like he was going to bring a certain level of athleticism that we didn't have at that linebacker spot, and he does. He's definitely a difference maker for us. And, he's a guy that was still really trying to learn the defense and things like that. So we feel like he's going to get better as the season goes on.
I appreciate you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Next question goes to Ty Miller.
Hey, Coach Shay, Ty Miller from Power News Radio Network. How you doing, man?
All right, Ty, how's it going?
Pretty good. I agree that the final score in the game was not indicative of how it was played. So on that vein, I want you to talk about the sustained defensive energy that I noticed throughout the entire game and how that's going to play throughout the season.
Well, I've got to give a lot of credit to our coaching staff. I've got a really good group of coaches, and they do a good job of not only with the X's and O's, but also as far as getting our players to play at the max level that they can play at and getting the most out of them. The thing I talked about with the team is just that we didn't control the controllables in that game. Yes, man for man, they had more talent than we had, but really at the end of the day, it wasn't really about their talent. It was really about us not controlling the things that we could control, because the score is 10-7 in the second quarter. and we give up a touchdown, and we bust a coverage. We don't cover the guy. Like, I mean, he's running by himself wide open, and those are things that we can control. You know, if you're in coverage on that guy and he just makes a great play, quarterback makes a great throw, and the receiver makes a great catch, then yes, we understand that. But the things we can control, such as knowing exactly what to do and going out and doing it, executing, doing your job, those are the things that we've got to fix as a team.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Welcome.
This question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach Shade, I hope you and the Bulldogs Nation are well. Can you talk a little bit about your first opportunity to play a HBCU game when you'll see Alcorn and just the opportunity for local fans and everybody, and it should be a great day?
Oh man, we're super excited for our first home game in front of our fans, and we know that it doesn't count as a SWAC game because we've got 8 other SWAC games that are going to count. But we're definitely looking at this as a SWAC game because we're playing a really good SWAC team in Alcorn, and they're 0-1, we're 0-1, and we know they're hungry for a win, and we're hungry for a win. So, you know, just a lot of excitement. I think that our fans are excited. Will be excited for us to get back home in the Lewis Cruz Classic, celebrating Coach Lewis Cruz, the winningest football coach in Alabama A&M University history, and bringing back a lot of former players to the Hill to celebrate that, and also to cheer on the 2025 edition of the Alabama A&M Bulldogs. So, you know, we're going to have a big weekend, excited about it, but our minds are going to be on the game, and I think it's going to boil down to who wants it the most.
All right, last question goes to Perry Daniels.
Coach, I'd like to follow up on that. The Lewis Cruz Classic, this is your first one. Talk about the importance of being the head football coach of Alabama A&M in this game.
Well, it's huge because you know, there are a number of coaches that have come before me. I was actually the 22nd, so number of guys that came before me, and you know, Coach Cruz, he's the one that had the most success and laid a foundation here at A&M for Alabama A&M football. So you know, it's definitely a situation where we want to go out and represent his legacy well in this ball game. Not only his legacy, but also all the former players that played for him that he touched the lives of that will be back here to cheer us on. And we've really made an effort since I've gotten here in the off season to have our former players come back and talk to the team and things like that. So many great players, the John Stallworths of the world and guys like that are just so important to the history of our program. We just want to do well for those guys and make them proud.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Coach Shea, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. Have a good week.
Yes, sir. All right, next we go over to Alabama State and Coach Eddie Robinson. Once again, if you do have any questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Robinson with Alabama State. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How's it going?
Doing great, Coach. Appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you could start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's season opener versus UAB.
Yeah, we played last Thursday night, so it's almost a week now. It seems like a long time, but went up there to UAB to the stadium there, Protective. I had a good crowd, a lot of home Alabama State folks there. Got up to a really good start, was able to put points on the board. Andrew Body played a really good game. Jalen Jones, a couple of the receivers caught touchdowns, Asa Gregg. And so, but unfortunately, defensively, we weren't able to do enough. Gave up too many big plays. Had a lot of young guys out there, competed at a really good level. Kept the game close, but fell at the end. And so this week we go down there to Southern on Saturday. So looking forward to it. Haven't played down there in a long time as a university, and I haven't been back there I've been there as a spectator, but not as a coach. So it's going to be an exciting atmosphere. Definitely going to be their home opener. So we know that Coach Graves will have those guys ready to go. So we have to really execute at a high level to have a successful evening.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Hey, Coach Robinson. Hope all is well down there in Montgomery. You guys racked up 514 yards of total offense against UAB. A couple things here. So for those out there that say that your offensive output was due to the recent struggles that UAB has had, what do you say to that? And then also with your offensive output from Thursday night, how do you see this translating against Southern's defense?
Yeah, so I think it's hard to say. I mean, it's the first game of the year. We're not too concerned about UAB. They're not even in our conference. It's a game that we were trying to win and we couldn't. So I think for us, it's just a matter of making sure that we're getting better each week. So that's my message to the guys is I pulled up an AI quote. I guess AI is not a quote, but just a solution of what is the purpose of practice. And so I just told them about going out there and getting a little bit better at everything we do. So we're more focused on us. And hopefully that translates to us scoring points and being really efficient on offense going down to Southern. So it's a different opponent. So hopefully one game carries over to another. Hopefully we can get a little bit better in all areas of football and have that growth from the first game to the second game.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck this week against Southern.
Appreciate it.
Next question goes to Keisha Kelly.
Hey, Coach. Keisha J. Kelly, Black College. How are you?
Doing well. How are you today?
Good. So you're headed down to Baton Rouge in an environment that we know is probably just as rowdy as it is at Alabama State. What is the team feeling like? How is that locker room after this past week's performance? Because we know Andrew got 431 yards, 5 touchdowns. What is the team feeling like heading over to Baton Rouge?
Well, I think we have to go down there to play. I mean, they're a really good football team. They have one more game of reps than us, 4 more quarters of football. So we understand the challenge of going down there. So my first ever college football game was playing at Southern, and that's when they still had the dorms right on that walk going to the stadium. So it was an eye opener for me. And we have a lot of young players and some older guys transfers and stuff like that. This will be their first game playing at Southern University. So it's a great atmosphere to play if you're the home team, but as a visiting team is tough. So we're gonna have to go down there and kind of just settle into the game and execute early in the game, try to take the crowd out the game. That's gonna be hard. We know how passionate the Jaguar fans are. So it's gonna be a big challenge, and that's how we're looking at it. It's a challenge for us to go down there and just to try to get one win. That's our approach.
Well, good luck, Coach. And the Villa is still standing. They still there.
Okay.
Next question goes to Troy White.
Hey, Coach. I know there are no more victories, but I was very proud to watch Alabama State play UAB. That being said, it's my understanding that you had some injuries going into that game. Are you going to get guys back on defense? What's the health of the overall defense?
Yeah, pretty good. I think we had a couple older guys that we would have wanted to play that couldn't play just out of more precaution. You don't want to risk missing 3 weeks when you can miss 1. So we'll have a couple guys back. And so, but for the most part, I think guys just have to mature. We had a lot of young guys play. We had a lot of guys who in the previous years, they were playing 15 to 20 snaps a game. Now you're playing 50 to 60 snaps a game. So you have to make that adjustment as a player of being mentally tough. And that's what we talked about. Yeah, you want to be physical, violent, but you got to be tough, but then mentally tough. Just going down there and knowing that, hey, now we're counting on you for 40 or 50 snaps, not just coming off the bench and playing special teams. So a lot of guys had different roles, and some of them did better than others, of course. So we need everybody to take that next step as a team, especially defensively.
All right, Coach. Well, I look forward to seeing you guys this week, and good luck.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
This question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach E-Rob, how you doing today?
Doing good. How's it going?
I'm doing good. First and foremost, the player Andrew Body was spectacular. 5 total touchdowns, over 400 yards total offense. What did you tell him as far as going into the game, coming back? Like we said, coming back from the shoulder injury from last season.
Well, that's a good question. Him and I talked about it the whole spring, summer, fall camp. he was, hey, coach, I need to take a couple hits. I said, well, we're just not going to let you take a hit in fall camp. But that's the biggest thing about quarterbacks in general. You know, you're always protecting them, but when they get into the game, now it's fair game. So you were just wondering, okay, once he takes the first hit, he has to settle back in. He did a great job of that, of course. And so I think he's just a determined kid. I think his focus, his leadership ability is at another level. And so and his play is matching that level. So he just has to be consistent. I think the quarterback position, more than any other position, I tell my kids consistently good equals great. And if he just goes out there and try to play a consistently good game, it'll end up being a great game. As long as he doesn't get out of himself and try to be Superman, try to make great plays, and he lets the game come to him, I think he can be a highly effective quarterback. So kid has a lot of talent, man. He has a lot of drive to go through 2 back-to-back season-ending injuries and still never complain, to keep working hard. So I think it's a guy that you want to root for.
All right, appreciate you, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
This question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach Robinson, I hope you and everybody on campus are well. Andrew Body is responding and playing well on the offensive side of the ball as quarterback. But talk about your defense, the Hornets, as you head into Southern, and what you'd like to see on the defensive side of the football.
Yeah, tackling. I think that's the biggest thing. Football hasn't changed much. You know, you can change the names and this and that, give it fancy this and that, but football is about blocking and tackling. So we have to go out there and tackle better. That was the emphasis today. Giving up 52 points was not fun. This is not the type of game that I'm used to coaching, where we're scoring a lot of points on both sides of the ball. So it wasn't familiar territory for me and for our defensive staff and for our players, giving up that many points and not being able to get people on the ground consistently. So that's the thing that we'll work on improving. Tackling is a lot about attitude. It's about a lot of want to, being tough, physical, violent. Those are things that we constantly preach. We ran to the ball hard. We were violent, but we just got to be in better position pre-snap and just communicate better. We have to know exactly where we're supposed to fit. And so it's just some of those things that you expect to get a lot better going from week 1 to week 2. We had about 5 guys who were starting their first college football game. So it was a lot of big eyes out there. So now everybody has to settle down and just play football.
Good luck this week at Mumford.
Thank you.
All right, Coach, we are a little bit over your time, so we appreciate your patience. We'll take one last question from Dr. Cavill.
Thank you. Coach Rob, how's it going this morning?
Going well. Appreciate it.
I know a lot of people are talking about the offense in this next game, but one stat that just stuck out with me is the 3 of 15 on third down efficiency. I can't recall the last time I've seen something like that. How did you go into the game, replication, seeking to get such a high proficiency? And God forbid, at least for some people, if you can increase that, how do you work and move that forward of trying to get better? And you always hear coaches talking about getting better every week. What do you see on tape when you're looking at 13 or 15 on third down efficiency?
Yeah, I think it's always a pursuit for perfection. So, as a coach,
Makes sense.
you can go out there and feel like you had a great game, but you're never as good as you think you are. You're never as bad as you think you are. So I don't think the defense was as bad as the score indicated, and I don't think the offense was as good as the score indicated. So we're both right there in the middle. And I think that's our job as coaches, to point out the things that you can improve on. And so we have a constant pursuit of perfection. We know that it's not a perfect world, but that's our pursuit. When we go out there to practice, we're trying to replicate a perfect practice. So just working on those little things, the details. We still had 7 penalties. I can go on and on about all the things that we can improve on. And I think that's the approach you have to have every week.
Thank you, Coach Rob. Good luck this weekend. Look forward to
Absolutely. Appreciate it.
Coach Rob, sincerely appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you. All right, next we go over to Alcorn State and Coach Cedric Thomas. Once again, if you do have any questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Thomas with Alcorn State. Good morning, Coach.
Morning.
Coach, are you able to start your video?
Yes, sir.
Got it. Appreciate you. Coach, as always, thanks for taking some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you could start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's season opener versus Northwestern State.
Yep. Took the guys down to Natchitoches season opener. Didn't start out as well as we like. Had a rain delay. I think we gave up a big drive on the opening drive, and after that, kind of settled down after an hour, maybe 15 minutes delay, and guys kind of got rolling. Moved the ball. I think we had 4 shots in the red zone. Only came up with 3 points, and just got to do better and take care of football inside the red zone. And defense, made some timely stops and just shot ourselves in the foot with some, costly penalties. Just had to do a better job of managing the game and how the refs was calling. And just basically, I felt like we just ran out of time. Guys played hard, played tough. Had a special team miscue early, first 5 minutes, in some rain. We just got to rectify that. But overall, I thought the guys played hard. Thought the guys played with a sense of urgency. Just can't shoot ourselves in the foot early and often, and also definitely can't have 15 penalties. And so, got a lot of work to do. Guys were excited on the practice field today, and just getting ready for this really good Alabama A&M football team.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Coach Thomas, you talked about some of the concerns with the penalties in that matchup that made it more challenging than I'm sure you would like. How do you work on that as you move into your next game in terms of how that can help be successful if you travel to the Hill in a non-conference conference matchup?
Yeah, really good question. We got to look at ourselves subjectively and understand, why was it called and what was the circumstances, behind it being called. And so a lot of the technical stuff, got to keep our hands inside, got to make sure we're moving our feet. And we just can't snatch guys, down. It's been a technique that was coached and been done in the past and wasn't called in our conference. But however, in the Southland Conference where that referee crew was from, they just wasn't allowing it. So we just got to make early adjustments in phases in which we see the refs going to call a game. And so I thought, we made the adjustments late, but we just, too far and few between, and so I think we just got to have that mindset going in, starting from practice reps and also just letting that, apply that same coaching once we get on the football field on Saturdays.
Thank you for sharing that insight. Good luck this weekend.
Yes, sir.
Question goes with Wayne Cartwright.
Hey, Coach. So you guys, when you went in the weather delay, you guys were down 13-0. So what was the discussion with the team? What adjustments were discussed? And then also Jalen Tolbert threw the ball 44 times. Is that something that you guys have discussed about balance as you get ready for this next game?
Yeah, the adjustment, discussion was just settled down. I thought we was kind of, genuine anxious, man. First game of the season and everybody just pressing to make a play instead of letting the game come to them. And I thought they settled down for the most part, just got to hone in on the small things and the aspect of scoring, inside the red zone. And, we got down, from a penalty standpoint, it's a lot of 2nd and 25s and, 1st and 20s and running the football. We didn't feel like that was going to make that 3rd or 2nd down manageable. So we definitely don't want to be in a situation where we're throwing the football, over 40 times. But also we just got to win. We feel like we got wideouts. It's good enough. If we can catch the football consistently, got an O-line that protect. At the end of the day, whatever's going to take us to score points, we got to do it. And whatever that high probability, whether running or passing, just taking what the defense gives us will give us opportunity to be successful going forward.
All right. Thanks, Coach. Talk to you next week.
Yes, sir.
Question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everyone on the reservation are well. The rushing game, Mr. Davis and Mr. Sewell, committee, just talk a little bit about the Alcorn rushing game and what you'd like to take going into the Alabama A&M game.
Those guys, we feel like those guys are all going great. They good. They run behind their pads, physical at the point of attack. And so we just got to make sure that we make the first man miss. Sometimes we get a little bit too aggressive and just our running back approach. And, the objective is to make them miss. We don't always have to run through them. We know that, that's a probability, if it happens. However, we feel like we can win with those guys. And so Watching A&M defense run around, not just Saturday, but just, even back from, those guys, coaching at Miles, looking at that whole season. Those guys are coached well, they disciplined, they physical, run around and hit people. So we got our hands full, and those running backs really going to have to tote the load for us.
Have a blessed week, Coach.
You too, sir.
Question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach Thomas, how you doing this morning?
I'm blessed. What's up with it, Doc?
I'm doing good. Two things that come out to me is third down efficiency at 5 of 17, but also the penalties, 15 penalties for 123 yards. What do you tell your team as far as trying to stay level-headed when it comes to the game?
Yeah, we just gotta, we gotta use our technique. We have refs that does an amazing job. They come out, they watch some of our practice, and also a lot of our scrimmages in fall camp, and we didn't have those issues. And those refs, do an amazing job while we're here. And so we just got to make sure we don't get out ourselves and go to rushing, and try to just, make the kill play. And we talk about playing through the whistle, but sometimes we just got to be mindful if they're gonna call it, or we're going to the ground, and we got to let those guys go. From a penalty standpoint. And, the penalties is a direct reflection of the 5 for 17 or whatever that third down number is, because when you put yourself behind the chains, now you're forcing some really good defenses in this league, and defense that we got to play. And so when that thing get, 3rd and 12, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 8, those are not manageable. We got plays in the system to kind of help, but it's just tough going against really good defenses when you're behind the chains and such.
All right, appreciate you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Last question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Can you evaluate your quarterback play, your Howard University transfer, Jalen Tolbert, and also could you speak about Louis Cruz and the importance that he meant to your university?
I thought Jalen, kind of got rattled a little bit early. And once he settled down after the break, the wideouts didn't help him much, early. Those guys caught some passes down the stretch, but we had about 6 or 7 drops that really could have, had his confidence a whole nother plateau. He could have been a whole lot higher. And 6 or 7 drops is just way too many. And so I thought, minus the drops, he managed the offense, got to use his legs a little more, but also didn't get rattled, when things was, not going well in a hostile environment. I thought he settled down and he rallied the troops. And, Coach Cruz is just one of those legends. I played in that classic when I was at Pine Bluff and had a chance to learn a lot about him. And just being the all-time winningest coach, at that institution, at any institution for that matter, it's just always a great fleet. And so to be a part of it, is really good, just listening and talking to the, Dr. Thomases of the world, the guys I GA'd for, and some of the elder statesmen when they're around the round table, just talking about, some of the old and great coaches who laid the foundation for us, regardless of what state or institution it is. We all together, and we all are part of that lineage. And so I'm just blessed to be able to take our football team and our great institution to be a part of a great classic to go against a really good football team.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this week.
Thank you, sir.
Coach, we sincerely appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. All right, next we go over to Thune Cookman, Coach Raymond Woody. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, as always, we sincerely appreciate your time joining us. If you could start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's season opener.
Also, we had an hour and a half rain delay, down there in South Florida, Pitbull Stadium. Then we got started around 8, and we started out on offense. We got to a 3rd and 14 after false start penalty. We were able to convert on a 59-yard pass to Javon Ross. We were not able to, score. We ended up 3rd and medium, had to settle for a 35-yard field goal by Juan Dominguez. Then we took a 3-0 lead, and they drove down the field and do a good job stopping the run. We were able to get to the red zone, 5 times, selling for field goals 3 times, and then going for it twice and didn't convert. Had opportunities to get takeaways, but were unable to capitalize, had 5 drop interceptions, ended up, losing, and the score didn't indicate on, how we ended up playing, but we got to make sure we capitalize on those opportunities.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Hey, Coach Woody.
How you doing?
Doing well. So question for you is you had both of your top quarterbacks play, Tim McLean and also Cam Ransom. So first thing is who's going to start against the U this week? And then also what are you looking to see between both of them that's going to separate them as to who's your starter moving forward?
Well, right now, we just want to have the intent and be intentional of, the technique and fundamentals. And we grade those guys, every day. And like I said, each practice, we create competition. I mean, those guys, they have different packages. So hopefully we can come out of this game with a true, starter. But both of them, they're playing. They're going to play.
All right, Coach. Good luck against you this week.
Thank you.
This question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everyone in Daytona are well. I had the opportunity to cover your game down at FIU. Can you talk about Mr. Ross, 6 targets for 109? He didn't get in the box, but he was moving the chains. And then also talk about Coach Simmons getting an opportunity to coach against him with a new helmet.
Well, I tell you what, Javon, he's a local guy, from D-Land, Florida, worked real hard in the spring and then also during the summer and then having a big time fall camp. And obviously it wasn't no surprise, that he did what he said he was going to do. A guy like that, get him out in space. And like it was really exciting, being a freshman last year to step in now as a true sophomore to show what he can do, with the ball in his hands. And then obviously Coach Simmons, I mean, he got a really good team, 50 new guys. They're going to be solid, especially going in their conference. It was good to see him, and he had those guys ready to go. And like I said, we fell short, but certain things that you can't do against good teams. You cannot miss opportunities. We missed several layups that we shouldn't have. But at the end of the day, that's why you coach, and that's why the players going from week 1 to week 2. We talked about the intent of just working on those techniques and fundamentals.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck against the U.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, you had this team with the score 7-3. They were up. You had them on their own 11-yard line and got a penalty on 3rd down, which extended their drive. Can you talk about that and what may have been if you were able to get them off of the field at that point?
It changes everything. 21 plays after that. I mean, it's just certain things that, you can't do. Like I say, the self-inflicting, penalties. I mean, playing against any team, but especially a team, like, FIU, bigger. And obviously they got some, skill preseason guys. And, that hurts you, when you do that. And that's something that, we're not known for, to shoot ourselves in the foot. And I was disappointed in that penalty.
And what do you tell this team going against a team that looked as good as the University of Miami looked this weekend?
Well, again, you got to be intentional with the technique and the fundamentals. I mean, obviously they're top 10 teams, great opportunity, to go into a game like that and do the things that that you need to do to have a chance, to win. But it's going to be a hostile environment. And, those guys, like I said, we got to make that big jump from week 1 to week 2. But, playing against a team like Miami, we can't have self-inflicting penalties. I mean, it won't even be close.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Coach, we sincerely appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next we go over to Florida A&M. Coach Colsey, once again, if you do have questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature and get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Colsey with Florida A&M. Good morning, Coach.
Hey, good morning, everyone. How you doing?
Doing great, Coach, and thank you for taking some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's season opener versus Howard.
Obviously a tough loss for us. You battle all game. Howard obviously played a good game as well. Lose on a game-winning field goal as they set themselves up. I think just for us defensively, we thought we had them where we needed to have them. 9-7 stopped them for the entire game. Obviously, unfortunately, gave up a couple big plays via some missed tackles, and they get a chance to put themselves in a position to win, and ultimately they did. Offensively, you start a brand new quarterback. Obviously, you're not used to the amount of points we normally score here, but only getting 9 points obviously affected the football game. But he did some good things, did some bad things. Ultimately, we didn't want to. This wasn't a spot where we thought a guy who earned the opportunity earned the job. Never really had any discussion about taking him out, but did some good things, did some bad things, but obviously as a staff need to make some adjustments across the board, and looking forward to playing FAU this upcoming Saturday.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach Coles, how you doing this morning?
Doing well, Doc. What's going on?
I'm doing good. I got a question for you. So, do you think the game was too close, in your opinion, that you feel like you could have changed quarterbacks kind of late in the game to try to give yourself some sort of offensive output against Howard?
Well, I thought we moved the ball, somewhat in the half, before the first half, right? And we were kind of in a similar predicament last year, where we thought we might have been struggling on offense. And at halftime we actually had the conversation about possibly changing quarterbacks, and ultimately, if you remember last year, we didn't. We came out and scored a touchdown, but we actually never even had that conversation at half. The conversation we had at half was on a couple of things that we thought we needed to do a little bit better offensively. We had a couple spots that we wish he would have made those throws, and who knows what would have done that to his confidence. But if you look at the stats, we held onto the football. I want to say almost 20 minutes in the second half. Controlling the game, moving the ball. You get yourself in a situation with get yourself inside the red zone. As opposed to scoring touchdowns, we kick field goals, right? So that obviously gave Al Howard the opportunity, to come do what they did at the end. But we had some unfortunate things happen throughout the game that you wish you could have had back, and not necessarily turnovers, but we never really had that conversation of changing quarterbacks. That never even came up in our conversation throughout the game.
All right, appreciate you, Coach.
No problem.
Question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Hey, Coach. I want to go back to the last drive. You guys, there were 4 plays there. The starting was the 3rd and long pass that Starks hit over the middle. There were 4 consecutive plays where they were using the middle of the field against your blitz. When I asked Coach Larry Scott yesterday on the MEAC call, he said you guys had soft coverage on the outside and they just took advantage of what you guys gave them. First off, how do you feel about that assessment? And then next, what exactly was the defensive philosophy on that last drive for you guys?
Well, I mean, when you go back, when you make mention, when you start the drive, the thing for us was we wanted to try to keep things in front and make tackles, and then, you go back to that first play of the drive, they're trying to use the sidelines, and ultimately, we wanted to keep them away from the sidelines. Well, that first play, they run an out route to the sidelines, and then we knock the ball down. That makes a 2nd and 10, and then same philosophy on the second down, keep it in front. We had a game with our defensive end, and he ultimately gets a sack to make it 3rd and 19. So we went to a Tampa 2, which is what we've been running since day one, and our linebacker doesn't get the drop that he needs, right? He gets kind of caught up, and that's how they ultimately get to that 3rd down and 19. So we were soft coverage because we wanted to make sure that we were soft outside, as opposed to trying to keep them in bounds. But if you look at those 3 plays where they were able to gain yardage, we missed tackles. and that wasn't something that we had done all day, right? We were very sound tackling the football. We were very sound of getting to the football. But, those last 3 plays, we missed the initial tackle, allowing them to get to the extra yardage. So it wasn't a matter of, we did have some pressure, but they were a little bit of some token pressures where we wanted to send one, drop, make tackles, and let the clock run, because obviously their timeout situation wasn't in their advantage as well. So, it was a situation where we held them to 100 and whatever yards throughout the entire football game, and unfortunately made a couple mistakes as far as some just schematic errors. And then once they did catch the football, we let them get out of bounds, and that allowed them to save some time.
Well, thanks, Coach. Good luck in Boca Raton against Florida Atlantic.
I appreciate it.
Question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Coach Cosley, obviously a lot of discussion on the last drive, but overall the defense was solid. As you know, third down efficiency 6 of 16 and just giving up over 200 total yards. Are there a couple of key standouts that you were excited about in terms of what they were able to get done in that game?
Well, we worried about up front, right? Obviously some of the guys that we recruited, we wanted to make sure we shored up interior wise defensively. I don't remember the numbers, but I don't think they had 40 yards rushing. But yeah, we wanted to make sure we took care of the inside of our defense, and I thought we did that. Nick Demetrius, Jahan Myers, Brian Norris, James Gardner, our defensive front, I thought did a really, really good job. And as far as, our corners always do a great job. They didn't give up anything, and Amari Lee was able to get his first interception of the career. But you hold a team to 120, 130 yards, doing some of the things that we did. I thought we did a good job of mixing the coverages. I thought we did a good job of sending pressure, getting pressure when we, with our regular 4 down. It felt good to be back in that seat again, making calls and, trying to game plan and do the things that I thought we could do defensively. So, but good job from our defensive staff, leading with our defensive coordinator, Coach Thompson, giving me the right blueprint as far as whatever calls we made throughout the game. And but again, we didn't do enough to win. We stopped them all game, but we didn't stop them at the most important drive. So, we had to go back to a little bit to our as a staff and talk about some things that we maybe need to do a little bit better at the end of games or at the end of halves, and hopefully we can turn that around this upcoming Saturday.
Thank you, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
Question goes to Troy White.
Hey, Coach. Troy White, Fat Mouth Sports. We talked immediately after the Orange Blossom Classic, and I brought up a possibility of RJ missing some throws, but I think one of the things that after looking at the game again, when you went heavy in the red zone, I think it was like the 5 or 6 yard line. The first play you ran I think you got like 4 or 5 yards rushing off of that play. In the very next play, in that same formation, you had a penalty, and I think that had a huge impact on the game. Will we see more heavy rushing attempts going forward to keep the offense balanced as far as yard production?
Well, if I can rephrase what you said, it was a costly penalty, and it was a very, very costly penalty. We're getting ready to go in technically for a touchdown. Then obviously replay shows, replay shows what it showed, right? And but a very, very costly penalty that pushed us back. Now our mindset's a little bit differently as far as what we're trying to do. We when you get into that part of the field, you want to be able to hammer it in, and we, first and goal. I want to say I thought it was either from the 6 or the 7. We get the ball to the 2 yard line, right? So we're at an advantage, right? They're reeling a little bit. They're getting tired, but now because of the flag, now we have to push it back, and now we have to play for a field goal. Whereas opposed to how we were driving and where we were going, we're looking to try to score a touchdown. So philosophy, and again, you make the philosophy as far as trying to stop the run and run the football. But that's everyone's philosophy. Everyone wants to be great running the football. Everybody wants to be great stopping the run, and that's similar to us. But there are going to be times when we run the football because that's what the situation says. But again, I thought we did a good job late in the game, getting the drives that we needed to get. But when you get inside that area and you keep kicking field goals, right? It leaves you open for the type of things that happen at the end of the game. So, again, we controlled the time of possession in the second half, but we only got field goals, right? And we needed to at least get maybe one of those to make us get some touchdowns to allow them to now have to maybe score a touchdown at the end of the game. Then maybe the situation is a little bit different.
One last question.
Absolutely.
A lot has been made about some of the missed throws that happened this weekend. What are you guys preparing to do to try and get the offense in sync so we don't miss explosive plays? Because those were explosive potential plays.
They were costly, right? I mean, again, we had one guy that was wide open early in the game, and again, I mean, RJ's not going to be the first quarterback to miss a throw right there. I mean, a lot of people have missed throws and missed people that were wide open, right? I mean, I take myself back to what we did in 22. In 22, we had a couple blowout losses, and obviously, Coach Simmons was our head coach, and I was on the defensive side, and a lot of people wondered what he was going to do, and that quarterback at the time was my man Musa, right? So the first two games he struggled, right? But the thing that we didn't know is that, and what I'm going to do, and why we made the decision that we made the decision on as far as who the quarterback is that we put that person in a position, to where hey, he's earned the job. We're not going to give him a short hook, and we actually didn't even have a conversation during that halftime about making a change. Where hey, do we do that now? I think we want to make sure we give everybody the opportunity, but we felt RJ was the guy to win the job because he won the job. We thought RJ was the guy that could lead us to the win. I thought he did a really, really good job in his last drive to get us to possibly get us to victory. But Jet Petty, RJ Johnson are going to compete every single day. And, again, RJ had a very, very good day today in practice, right? So that's why you get a chance to evaluate the film, look at it, make the appropriate corrections. And RJ spin the ball pretty well today. So, I mean, we haven't had any conversations about any changes or anything like that. So I wish we would stop talking about it. But we haven't made any decisions on that. Obviously, it was this guy's first game after sitting at Toledo for 2 years, where a lot of quarterbacks are in that situation. We unfortunately or fortunately are in that situation right now. He's going to go into a second game, and I think we'll see a big improvement from him. This upcoming Saturday.
Last question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody in Tallahassee are well. When you think about FAMU headed into play the Owls, talk a little bit about that team and what you see on tape and what you want to get done.
Well, when you play them, right, you look at what they did last week against a very, very good Maryland football team, and then you have to kind of gauge back to what the head coach was the offensive coordinator at Texas Tech. So now we're looking at our Texas Tech film. We're looking at the quarterback. The quarterback that they have, he came from Western Kentucky, so we're looking at Western Kentucky film. And then you look at their film that they had against this past weekend against Maryland, right? So their air raid, they want to even though they scored 7 points this past Saturday, them guys ran 94 snaps, so they want to get it and go, and they're not going to leave a lot of time to put pressure on the quarterback. They have their reads, they're going to make their throws, so they're so where today defensively, we had to make our defense practice stay very, very chaotic because that's how they make it, and then on offensive side. We control the tempo. So, I think the biggest thing is just trying to get ourselves ready. We feel we're conditioned because I think our strength and conditioning staff do a great job in regards to our conditioning. But as a staff, we have to make this thing extremely chaotic because that's how they're going to try to make it defensively for us. So, they're probably licking their wounds just like we are. A team that, probably thought they had a really, really good chance to win and they did not. We're both 0-1. I don't think ideally, we felt we would be in this situation, but we can't worry about what they do. We know what they do on offense. We know what they do on defense. We just have to make sure we're making our improvements as far as FAMU goes.
Thank you, sir. Have a blessed week.
Absolutely.
Coach, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Appreciate you, man, and good luck to everyone else this weekend.
Thank you. All right, next we move over to Grambling State, and Hey, Coach Joseph, once again, if you do have any questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Joseph with Grambling State. Good morning, Coach.
Morning.
Coach, sincerely appreciate you taking some time to join us. If you could, please start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's season opener versus Langston.
Well, I thought we executed in all three phases. We thought we played the entire game. I enjoyed the effort. The effort was there. I didn't enjoy the last 8 minutes when we put some of the backups in. And like I told my coaches, you're responsible for your group to play well. I don't care if it's the ones, twos, threes, or fours. So I got to do a better job with my staff and too with the players when they get in a game like this. But when you're in a game and you have 63 scholarships and they have about 5, you should be able to execute, and the game should look like this. So tell my kids right now, don't read the press clippings. Don't worry about the pats on your back, because the same people who's patting on your back was telling you last year that you suck. So don't listen to the outside noise. Stay within the building, we're going to be fine. But it was a win. We got to take the win, and we got to move on.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Hey, Coach Joseph. So when you sat with me at Media Day, we talked about the opportunity to play Ohio State, which is about less than a mile from where I'm currently sitting right now. Yes, I work on Ohio State's campus, but you talked about the opportunity to go play a team like this. So my question for you is, what how is the tenor of the team, or how do they feel about coming up here to play Ohio State now? And then also, what are some of the things that you're looking to get from your team that you can see moving forward as you apply it, getting ready for SWAC play ahead?
Well, I think it's a great opportunity. I don't know if the rankings came out yet, but I'm sure there'll be one or they'll be close to one. It's a great opportunity, to go up there and play a team like Ohio State. Like I said yesterday, Ohio State's been winning before the NIL and before the shared revenue. They've been winning. So their program, their administration has been consistent. Their athletic department been consistent for years, and that's why you win. So we take on the challenge, because it's going to be a huge challenge. But we're excited. We're excited to go play on that stage. So what we're looking for to get out this game is that it's clean. And we always talk about it's got to be clean. Having 11 people on the field, not 12, not 9, and also that we focus and we finish. But we also talk about the kids that just compete one play at a time. Just give it everything you have, one play at a time. We understand what we're going into. We understand that, I know on paper they're probably not at 105, but I know they got enough money to support 105 scholarships, and we're at 63. So it's a huge task, but like I said, this is a great opportunity. It's a great memory for our kids. So we're just going to go in there and swing. That's all we're going to do.
Well, thanks, Coach, and good luck up here in Ohio.
Thank you.
Question goes to James Hill.
Coach, I hope you and everybody at Grambling are well. Talk about your quarterback play, as he had a successful day, but do you want to take that into Columbus?
Yes. Zay had a great day. He was 20 out of 25. He missed 2 throws, and I think he had a drop or 2. But the poise was there. He put us in the right run plays. He had us on the right protection. He read it the way we wanted to be read on the passing concepts. So we're excited the way Zay played this week. That's one reason we took him, because just the poise, and he's a quarterback. And like I told him today at practice, we just got off the field. He signed up to play quarterback, and some of our plays are long, some of our plays are a mile long, and sometimes he misses a part of it because he said they're long. Well, I can't do anything about that. He signed up to play quarterback, so he gets it. He gets coach harder than anybody in the building, and he takes it. But the kid's a competitor. He's got a high football IQ, and we're happy to have him. And he played well on Saturday. We just got to make sure we have a right game plan for him so he can be successful on Saturday.
Coach, the Ohio State, yes, they're a national brand. They set the standard. But when we look at Grambling, the G-Men, Coach Rob, yourself, and what Grambling does, we know that Grambling, and you've said it before, this is a national brand. Talk about the display of HBCU football, the SWAC, Grambling, and the whole concept going in.
Well, I always say this, I don't know if Ohio State would have called Coach Rob back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s and said, let's play. He had loaded talent. He had a loaded locker room. So, it is a national brand. Ohio State's a national brand. It's going to, like I say, it's going to be great for both universities to square off, in the horseshoe. So I'm sure our student athletes are excited. I know our band's excited. You know, everybody's excited around here, but you know, we have a national brand just like they have a national brand. We just on two different levels now. You know, it's 2025, so it's two different levels. There's levels to the game now. And I don't know if everybody understands that. You know, it's the $20 million level and it's not the $20 million level. So it's levels to it. We understand that, but we like I said, we're excited about the opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Have a great week.
Thank you.
All right, we do have several questions in the queue, so we're going to ask everyone to please limit their questions to one initial question. If we have time, we'll circle back for follow-ups. Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Good morning, Coach Joseph.
How you doing, Doc?
I'm doing well. Great point when you say there's levels to this. Try to share that as well. I wanted to ask you in terms of, you made the point when you got into the depth chart of your team with the backups that there were some mistakes made. Can you talk a little bit, however, about the starters and maybe their direct backups? How did you grade them in terms of a performance? And how do you move when you're grading teams, as you mentioned, with NIA 5 scholarships versus a team with 80 plus scholarships in the NIL pockets that Ohio State has?
Yes, when we look at it no matter who we playing. Did you do what the integrity of the play? Did you do what the coach asked you to do? Did you do your job? So it don't matter if it's Langston, Ohio State, LSU, Alabama. If we say step with your inside foot, did you step with your inside foot? So we're gonna grade them hard, no matter what. We grade them hard in practice, you know. So we it doesn't matter. We want you to execute. Execute is executing. You know, no matter who's out there, step with your inside foot. Okay, outside release. Okay, hey, read the flat player. So that's executing. So no matter who we play, that's the way we roll them now here in this building. We want them to execute. So we want them to do their job. And if you do your job and it's one-on-one and you lose the one-on battle because he was just better than you that play, but that's okay because you did what we asked you to do. So we tell our kids all the time, if you're gonna be wrong what the coach is telling you to do. That's how you can bail yourself out.
Great points. Thank you for sharing that, Coach Joseph.
Thank you.
Good luck this week.
Thank you.
Question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Perry, how you doing, man?
I'm well, Coach. I'm wondering, there's been a lot of talk this past weekend about the 20th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina.
Yes.
You were in New Orleans when that occurred. Have you shared with your team your experience and lessons in perseverance?
Yes, I shared that with them in the beginning of camp. You know, when we came to camp at the end of July, they came August because, you know, around this time, I always get that Katrina feeling. I was at Desire Street Academy at the time, and I remember telling my team, you know, hey, I'll see you on Tuesday, you know, and it wasn't that. And then when I got in the building, my cousin Terry was coaching at Tennessee. He said, turn the TV on. He says, turn it right towards y'all. He said, you got to get everybody out there because at the time, everybody was gone. My brother Sammy was playing at LSU, but everybody else was gone. So, you know, Terry was at Tennessee, Vance was in San Fran, I think. So I had to get the families to get them together. So, but I told my kids about those kids with that, you know, some of them had the same clothes on for 2 weeks. You know, they had to leave and come with me to Camp Tempucci out in Florida, in Niceville, Florida. And those kids didn't blink. They didn't flinch. They believed what I was telling them. And I had to raise them. But the thing about it, they had some grit about them. You know, they were 13 and 14 years old, and they was blessed for what they have and what they had. And that's what I tell my guys. Hey, be blessed with what we have, and don't give an attitude about what you don't have, because you can't miss what you never had. So I want those kids to be more resilient, just like the kids I had at Desire Street. You know, there were some tough mental kids, you know, talking about kids who lost everything. You know, I'm talking about lost family members and lost everything. They had one pair of clothes when I found them. So I know what struggle is, and I keep telling them when they talk about pressure, this job's not pressure. You know, pressure is a guy that works 40 hours a week, then the storm like that hit, and he loses everything, and now the family's looking at him. How are we gonna eat? How are we gonna live? That's pressure. This is not pressure. You know, this is not, no, we say, oh, we welcome pressure. No, that's just BS. I know what pressure is. I've seen pressure. I've seen people lose everything. So to me, at the end of the day, I know we're competitors, but it's football. But look at what those people had to go through in New Orleans, and they didn't get the proper help right away. They waited. They waited on outskirts before they went in there and helped those people. So it's a touchy feeling for me. So I watch my mouth when I say stuff. But I was blessed to be a part of those kids' lives. I still stay in touch with those kids. And Danny Walford and Mo, they did a great job. Oscar Brown, they did a great job at Desire Street. So yes, it was a meaningful moment for me, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. But that was my best coaching job that I ever done in the 28 years of coaching.
Coach, thank you for that response, and thank you what you did for those young men.
Thank you.
Last question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach, how you doing this morning?
Doc, how you doing?
Man, I'm doing good. Tell me about your rush offense, going for over 200 yards against Langston and controlling the clock. How do you grade your rushing attack, and then also going into the game against Ohio State?
Well, we changed our philosophy a little bit. It was a philosophy that I had for about the last 5 or 6 years, throw to open up the run. So I just went back to my Nebraska days. We're going to run the ball, to run the ball, to run the ball, to run the ball. And we're going to lose. You're going to use multiple backs. We're going to identify the boxes like we identify coverages, and we're going to run the football. We're going to be happy with 3-yard runs. We're going to try to bloody your nose every single time. We're going to lean on you. We're not going to let you do what this conference does well. This conference does well. They rush the passer. But now I want to see them take on blocks. And that's what I want them to do, because at the end of the day, when you look at this conference, they're very athletic, but now we're just going to run at them and see if they want to take on blocks, because it's hard to take on blocks for 45, 50 plays. You can rush the passer, but when you're getting down blocks, kick out blocks, reach blocks, that's kind of difficult. And you can slow pass rushes down by running at them. So that's what we want to do. That's our philosophy. And we graded on if it was a positive 3 or 4 yards. A sufficient run to us is 4 yards. But if I get 3, I'm happy, because now if I get 3 on 3 downs, it's 4th and 1, then I'm going for it. So we're going to continue to try to get better at the offensive line, get better at the tight ends, and the receivers did a great job of blocking. So we want to continue that and continue getting better in the run game.
All right. Appreciate you, Coach.
Appreciate you.
Coach, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you, guys, and everybody. Good luck to y'all this week.
Appreciate it, Coach.
All right.
Next, we go over to Arkansas Pine Bluff and Coach Hampton. Once again, if you do have questions, please utilize the raise hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Hampton with Arkansas Pine Bluff. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, as always, we sincerely appreciate you taking time to join us. If you could, please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing at Texas Tech.
Yeah, we went down to Lubbock and played Texas Tech Red Raiders. Really good opponent. It was a good experience for our football players. Had about 60,000 in the stands, and so we started out the game. Had a good first drive. Picked up a couple first downs, and then obviously the game started, and we made some uncharacteristic mistakes, and they were able to kind of take advantage of that. But overall, it was a good job. Offense, I thought we moved the ball at times. In defense, we were able to kick some field goals. And, in some instances, they just had better players than we had at certain positions. Obviously, the O-line, D-line, they had their way there, and we knew it. But overall, we didn't get anybody hurt. So it was a lot of positives. Quarterback played well for us. Starting center played well. Had some young guys on defense. Freshman corner played really well. And so it was a lot of improvement. Had a new punter, broke in. He did a really good job. They were able to block one, but that was because we ended up cutting the guy loose. Didn't ID it correctly, but we'll get that shored up. So excited to be headed to the next game. And as we say, got the preseason game out of the way. Now we can play some football.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. We have several questions already in the queue, so please limit your questions to one initial question. If we have time, we'll work our way back for follow-ups. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Hey, Coach Hampton. So you guys are getting ready to play Central Arkansas, who had a similar game to you. They lost 61-6 to Missouri. So what are your thoughts about them, and what do you take from your team's performance from this first game that you can utilize against Central Arkansas to your advantage, in your opinions?
Yeah, obviously, Central Arkansas is a well-coached football team. Last year I thought they would have made the playoffs. They had some injuries down the line, and it's a lot of carryover from the coaching staff. I think what we both can do is you get excited for this game. It's more apples to apples this week. We played them last year. It was a good game for a quarter and a half. And then they were able to make a couple plays. They had two really good players. One got drafted. The running back was probably one of the best running backs I've seen. He had speed. And so we're excited about the opportunity to be able to go to Conway and play these guys. A lot of familiarity with the players and the coaches. So it's exciting for both teams. Obviously, when you come off the game that we both came off of, you just kind of want to bottle up all the good things that you did. And now, as I said, no more preseason football. So now it's kind of good on good. You got some stuff you can go back and watch from last year and then kind of go from there. But it's exciting. I think we'll travel well, do a lot of black and gold in Conway. So I know they're excited, looking for their first win of the season, just like we are.
Good luck on that purple and gray rug down there, Coach.
All right, no problem.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill. Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab.
How you doing?
I'm doing well, Coach Hampton. I wanted to ask you, you talk about the excitement going up to play a team within the same divisional classification. What particularly has you excited about these in-state type of matchups, particularly against this Central team?
Well, obviously, number one, there's been a really good program over the years. I think they probably averaged 7 to 8 wins. And our kids know a lot of their players. And again, they're in a really good conference. And so our guys get a chance to go against guys that they're familiar with. But then it's a really good opportunity for us to measure ourselves against a really good FCS opponent. And so that's what we're excited about. And anytime you play an in-state opponent, man, it's just kind of like it's bragging rights. And so last year they got the best of us. We jumped out on them, and then they came back. And again, man, they had some really talented football players. This year, we got a young team, but we got some really good football players. And I think we match up really well with them. So I'm excited about that, to see us get on the field and compete at 6 o'clock on Saturday.
Thank you, Coach.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody in the Golden Lions Nation are well. Talk a little bit about your quarterback, Mr. Peters, going 17 of 33 for 123. He had 1 touchdown and 1 pick. What do you see from that gentleman as you head into the Central Arkansas game?
Well, I'll tell everybody this. I mean, obviously, I thought he did a really good job of, playing within the game plan, doing what Coach asked him to do, getting the ball out on time. Obviously, they had 3 guys on that D-line that were really good, making over $1 million. And so we had to get it out. He did a really good job. And even on the 1 interception that he threw, the receiver probably could have helped him out a little more and fought for the ball. It was on a slant route. And but this kid, he's very comfortable in our system. He's in grad school, very intelligent young man, has the right demeanor, highly competitive, which is what you need. And he can flat out run. So obviously this week here be more to our liking. We got more, like I said, apples to apples. And so he'll be able to do a little more than he were able to do last week. And then our receivers, I thought they did a really good job of getting open. We just didn't have the time to be able to sit back there and throw it. So we feel good about the matchup that we're going into. And again, Christian Peters is an excellent leader on our football team. And so I'm excited to watch him grow from week 1 to week 2.
Thank you, Coach.
No problem.
This question goes to Tanner Spearman.
Good morning, Coach. Obviously, when you guys played UCA last year, they had a pretty good day running the ball. Obviously, they don't have Jake Powell anymore, but they still ran for over, I think, 150 yards against Missouri last week. What stands out to you about their rushing attack this year, and what do you guys have to do to be better prepared to stop it?
Yeah, man, you got to get hats in the box. We got to crowd the line of scrimmage. We got to challenge those receivers. And do things like that. You got to stop them. I mean, they got a couple good running backs, as you said. They're not as explosive as last year, but they're just as good. The big back Zero, he's running the ball tough inside. Then they got to change of pace, running back. They bring in a couple guys that can get to the edges. So, man, that's any kind of time that you're playing a football game, got to be able to stop the run. And so they were able to run the game. I watched the game live, and I went back and watched the TV copy. They did a really good job. Their O-line's doing a really good job, man. So we're going to have to fit up the run pretty well. And at times we did a really good job last week on stopping the run. So like I said, I'm excited about this game because it's more apples to apples. And again, our defense, I didn't think we played bad on Saturday. It's just, I think some of their Jimmys was a little better than our Joes. And so this game here, we're going to be able to tell a lot about the Golden Lions. And just like they're excited for us to come there and play, we're excited to be traveling up there to play. So we'll be able to stop the run. Obviously, that's always the goal. Anytime you play a game is to stop the run. And so we'll put the necessary bodies in the box and then, ask our guys on the outside to do what they need to do.
Okay, thank you, Coach.
Last question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach Hampton, how you doing this morning?
Hey, doing good.
All right. Can you tell me what type of matchup you think you can have if you can win on a Saturday against Central Arkansas as far as defensive wise? And what do you see from them as far as when it comes to just basically running the ball?
Yeah, I mean, just kind of like I just said, obviously, man, we got to be able to stop them from running the ball, right? We got to be able to run the football. We got to be able to take some shots and push the ball downfield. We got some receivers that can run. And obviously, you didn't get a chance to really see that against the opponent that we were playing. And, our scheme matches up well with their scheme on both sides of the ball. And obviously, on special teams, we've done some great things with our special teams. I'm just excited for this opportunity for our guys to be able to play them. Like I said, last year it was a close game for a half. And then, we made some mistakes. I think we're better equipped this year. We got some coaches that came in with some experience, guys that understand. And, obviously we didn't show a lot of things last week, but, we'll have some different things that we're going to add in this week from offense, defense. And, this is kind of game that you kind of start this is really your game one, and thankful nobody got injured. And so we're excited about where we're at as a football team, but obviously got to go out there and play the game. And it's not a long trip. So our kids will be rested, ready to roll.
All right. Appreciate you, Coach.
No problem.
Coach, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
I appreciate it. Be blessed.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right. Next, we move over to Mississippi Valley State and Coach Buckley. Once again, if you do have questions, please utilize raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Buckley with Mississippi Valley State. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. Good morning.
Coach, as always, we appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule to join us. If you could start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus Southern.
Well, I felt like it was a hard-fought game. We was prepared to win the ball game, and we came up a little short. We couldn't punch in to get the touchdown when we really needed to. I think that would have been the difference in the game. We had two possessions inside of the 5-yard line that we had to settle for field goals, and touchdowns there will make a difference. So like everybody else, you get a chance to see your guys. Some guys played their way off the bus, which is a big thing, but that's what you get in the 0 games, going from preseason to that. So overall, the energy was great. The fight, we had the fight in us, and we just have to clean up a few things like everybody else and make the plays when they count. But guys are very excited. Energy is high, and we're looking forward to this week.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Hey, Coach Buck.
Hey,
so talk a little bit about your quarterback, Josh Brown, and his performance. And then also you guys are getting ready to play Tarleton. They beat Army, man. So talk about you guys matching up with them this week.
Yes, Josh Brown, obviously, if you watch the game, hopefully everybody watch, showed some escapability, very creative, and we want to obviously capitalize on that and make sure it's within what we're trying to do. But he's starting to show why we wanted him, why he was so high on our board. And this week we're going to do what we do. We feel like every opponent we go in we're going up against, so we have a chance. Now it's an opportunity to prove that. We have improved. Again, we have over 70 new players. You know, you watch games and guys talk about that. North Carolina had that, and they didn't mesh well. So kudos out to the coaching staff with the guys that we've brought in, that the way they competed and bought into the new culture, new era here, that we're not accepting anything. We're going to go out and compete and try to get that win.
All right, Coach, good luck in Stephenville this week.
Thank you.
Question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody back in the Delta are well. Talk about going in on the road, a great opportunity to get one. Yes, they're riding high. Yes, they beat Army, but you can go in there and punch them in the mouth, so to speak, and win a game. Talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely. I mean, that's our attitude every week, no matter who we're playing. Unfortunately, this past week, again, we didn't close the door. That's one of our things, closing the door. So now we have another opportunity. I always feel like you get better from week 1 to 2 because now you're not guessing as much on who can do what, and that helps with the game planning. So we're going to take the attitude that we're going to put together a great game plan and go out and try to execute and do what we want to do, which is come out there with a win.
Good luck on the road, Coach.
Thank you.
Question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Good morning, Coach Buckley.
Morning.
We talked a little bit about Josh Brown and how he played really well. Would you mind sharing a couple of other guys that we need to start paying maybe a little more attention to that played really well in the game for you, graded well?
We had a few guys on offense did a great job. Receiver caught a big touchdown for us. White, Brownlow showing his speed. Makai Norris showing his speed too outside. So overall, the offensive guys did a pretty good job. Defensively, linebacker Jalen Wright created havoc in there. The Mike linebacker, who had 2 corners that did their job. And on the front, we jumped around a little bit from 3 down to 4 down. So all those guys had a role. You know, most guys want to get in the 4 down and rush, but they bought into the program. Like we have the ability to do this, so let's do it. So few guys there that did a good job, but I was not good enough, right? We need better because the bottom line is coming out of there with a W.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Coach. Look forward to the matchup this week. Good luck.
Thank you.
Question goes to Perry Daniels.
Coach, this was your first game in the SWAC as a head coach. Talk about that experience and being in front of the faithful in Itabena.
It was awesome. You know, once you step on the field, the grass, it's like another game. Are you prepared? You know, for us being at home, we practice out there. So for us, it was, and we've been doing a very good job over fall camp. So I had a very good feel. It's one of those like this is where I'm supposed to be. This is what we're supposed to do. Let's go out here and play well and show everybody that the new staff, the new players, that this is a new era. And I was excited about that. So me thinking about the first game, and that was never on my mind.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Question goes to Troy White.
Coach Buckley, Troy White, Fat Mouth Sports.
Yeah.
You spoke a bit about the offense and the defense being able to make plays. As I looked at the game, your special teams came to play as well. Your kicker hit a 47-yarder, which gave you a bit of an advantage, I thought, that I didn't think you had going into the season. Can you talk a little bit about your kicking game and your return game?
Oh, the kicking game is all. I feel like Marco J. we call is one of the top field goal kickers in the country. I mean, his leg. I mean, he get it out there to 50. I asked him one time. We had a little breeze. It was going to be in the mid 50s, and I had that conversation with him, and we decided to punt. But the special team is going to be a strong point for us. And we're excited about the continued improvement. We have to improve on our long snap, and we lost our snapper that was banged up, so we had to make some adjustments there. But I am very excited about the return game, the returners, and our specialists, punters and kickers.
Well, thank you, Coach. I look forward to seeing your progress this season.
Thank you.
This question goes to Doc Holliday.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing today?
Well. I'm doing well.
All right. How would you grade your defense against Southern this past weekend? And what are the things that you see that you can exploit offensively for Tarleton State this coming up Saturday?
Well, I give the defense one of them mid grades because they had 50 attempts rushing and rushed for over 200 yards. But in turn, we had half dozen TFLs just shooting the gaps. We're aggressive. We're going to dictate to you, and they slid through. With the 200 yards, it was one of counting the backs. They have 3 good backs, plus the quarterback can run. So I would give them a passing grade, on them C plus, but we can play better. And I'm pretty sure this week that's one of the things that Tarleton is going to try to exploit, and we have to try to counter that. But I'm very excited about this opportunity to show the improvement.
I appreciate you, Coach.
You're welcome.
Last question goes to Keisha Kelly.
Hey, Coach. Keisha J. Kelly, Black College Experience. I think I might have read a quote or something of you saying this ain't your mom and dad's old Mississippi Valley State University team, and we saw that by the 29 points you guys put up on Southern University. Can you talk more to that and the defense that you guys have built?
Yes, we are very, very disappointed about the outcome of the game. And then once you look at the tape and you see that without saying and prayers and doing all this type of stuff, that we left about 28 points out there on the board. And defensively, we gave up 10, probably 10 that we should not have. But you're playing the champions from the West from last year. They came ready to play, and now we match their energy. We match play for play, which is this is a new era. So we're moving forward. Yes, we felt good about some things from the game, but more that we didn't take advantage of opportunities that we had. And so that's the new era. That's our mindset moving forward.
Good luck, Coach.
Thank you.
Coach, we sincerely appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, we next go over to Prairie View A&M and head coach Jackson. Once again, if you do have any questions, we ask you please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Jackson with Prairie View A&M. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, if you could start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's season opener versus Texas Southern.
Yeah, really rivalry win for us. Great way to start off our tenure here at Prairie View A&M. I was really proud of our players and our coaches for how they handled the adversity and the delays. Probably were in about an hour and a half delay because of the field and the rain that had happened. Had a lot of other issues technically go bad there, but we withstood it. Our kids were resilient through it. We have an in spite of mentality around here, and so in spite of all the issues that we faced, we were able to find a way to win at the end of the game. Which had never happened to me before, especially in a new tenure. And so we're excited about our starting off 1-0 in the West and 1-0 in the conference, and got a really good opponent in UTRGV coming in here this week.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Hey, Coach, congrats on that win, and I saw you got your grass. So What is the process this week of you guys preparing your guys after that emotional game for a UT Rio Grande Valley team, especially with Eddie Lee Marburger throwing for 365 and only missing one pass? Like, what's the process of preparing them for this opponent this week?
Yeah, it's the same process that we go through every week, Wayne. Man, our opponents are nameless gray faces to us. What we try to do is make it about us and about Prairie View A&M, and we tell our guys the only people that can beat Prairie View A&M is Prairie View A&M. With all respect to our opponents and those that are in the future, man, we do not care about what they got going on. We try to stay to what it is that we do. We got a lot of things to improve on. We had some kickoff issues. We had some penalty issues. We had some issues, and in spite of, we were still able to win. So what we want to do, we put that game away. We got home about 3 in the morning, and the next day at 3:00 p.m., we were back at practice, ready to go, working on UTRGV, and they do. They have a really good quarterback. Played a lot of Division I snaps at UTSA, and so even though they're a new football program, they're a really good football program early on. And so we got our hands full this week. And so it was really easy when we cut the tape on to move on from the first game.
All right, Coach, good luck in that home opener.
Thank you.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, congratulations on that victory. Can you take us back to the game-winning play, Mr. Ojo, and how that transpired and what you think about it?
Man, James, that seems so long ago. All I know is that we won the game twice, in our opinion. We got a penalty on a pick, put 2 seconds on the clock. We went back to the 18-yard line, and our quarterback, they called timeout. Our quarterback came to us and made a play call, basically. He suggested a play, and we went with it, so therefore it was his call. He had saw some things formationally that they didn't adjust to as the game went on, and so we went with it. And he found Rodney standing in the center of the end zone with a lost defender, and so we were able to pull out a win. So I remember that part, and you know, I didn't know he had caught the ball at the end of the game because there was so much chaos going on. The people rushing the field told me that we had won the game, and so it was a memorable moment for it being a first for us as a program here, and our first in our tenure. And so we were just excited about it. But like I said, we've since moved on from it. I know it's Tuesday and yesterday was Labor Day, but man, we're so far from Saturday until I hope I gave you a pretty good recap because it is a distant memory.
Yes, sir. Congratulations and good luck going forward.
Thank you.
Question goes to Perry Daniels.
Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you.
I realize that there's been some time since that game ended. However, I want you to talk about the experience. You've been in this game on the other sideline. Talk about being the head coach in the Labor Day Classic for Prairie View A&M.
Yeah, you know, one of the reasons I joke with people around here all the time is my 4 years as a coach at Texas Southern, I never beat Prairie View A&M. There's an old saying that said, if you can't beat them, join them. And so we certainly were excited about being in the purple and gold, regardless of my affiliation with Texas Southern. And I know what we have here. I know what we do here. I know what we can be here at Prairie View A&M. And so we were really excited to be here and to win game one and all the things that it means for our fans. You know, we certainly wanted to do that. Man, it would have been a travesty from a social media standpoint had we not won, because we look different than most institutions on our level. We do things different, and a lot of people take that differently. And so for us to start off with a win, I think it just helps us all the way around. But most of all, I was happy to give our fans and our alums something that they could go to work and talk trash about for a whole nother year.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill. Dr. Cavill is inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Good morning, Coach Jackson.
Doc.
Yeah, I know the exciting game, and people have pretty much talked about that. So moving forward, but based on that game, is in terms of your third down efficiency throughout that game, I'd imagine is an area of interest, 6 of 16. When you look at that, what are you going to go back? Although your quarterback played really well in a lot of spots, including obviously what became the most important drive, 10 plays. going 90+ yards to get it done, including throwing for a touchdown at the end of the game. How do you focus on getting better, particularly at the quarterback position, in terms of efficiency and the whole team, about picking up those first downs and continue to move the chains?
Yeah, Doc, I'll tell you, some of those stats aren't correct when you go back and look at the game film. We were probably a little bit better than that, but it wasn't to our standard either way. And so what we have to do is realize, what happened on first and second down. A lot of those times we didn't convert the third down. We were behind the chains, whether it was by penalty or by execution issue. And so we had to address that on Sunday immediately when we got in. I think very vividly back to a 3rd and 1 where our quarterback needed to snap the ball. We had him on the ropes. We needed to snap the ball. He held it. We ended up jumping off sides. That put us in 3rd and 6. And then here we go. We start going backwards. So when it's execution issues like that, we certainly want to address those, and we'll always address those moving forward in everything that we do. But a lot of penalties that we're getting some answers to, but some of them we did do, and so we got to get those addressed as well. But I think you saw a lot of game one jitters. It was a lot of guys' first time out there playing, which is certainly no excuse. But I think we can clean that up very easily moving forward.
Thank you, Coach. Reserved to ask another question if time permits. I want to also say congratulations on the win, as well as belated happy birthday. Thank you, Coach.
Appreciate it, Doc.
Got time for a few more questions. Next one goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach Jackson, how you doing today?
Doing good.
All right. Give us your feeling about actually getting your first Division I win as a head coach and your first SWAC win this past Saturday.
Yeah, I don't really have a feeling. I think you guys and people outside of football make a lot of a bigger deal about Division I. Man, it's football and it's college football. Where I've been as a head coach in my career, I've coached on every level of college football. And so there's not a lot of difference, man. And I don't want to disrespect anybody, but the conference I was in a year ago, there ain't much difference from a talent standpoint because there's a lot of different factors in Division II. And so I don't look at it as necessarily a Division I win. We look at it as a win. I don't care what division you in. I don't care where you play or how much TV time, contracts you got. Man, if we walk out there on that grass together, we want to win. And so we don't make excuses for what we don't have and what they got and all that stuff. Man, it's Division I. It's football, no matter what the division is. And so there's no different feeling than when I won a game against an NAIA school in my first head coaching year. It's winning. And when you're in this seat, when you're a part of college football, man, you want to win regardless of what level it is. I think for me, to see our players come together and win an adverse situation, that was probably the feeling for me that I enjoyed the most. Not necessarily winning the football game in Division I. I mean, we won a football game together in our first go-round as a tenure. Man, we didn't have headsets for 2.5 quarters. Nobody really knows that. But we found a way. Our coaches found a way to get it done. And so we get excited more about that stuff other than the Division I win. And I probably go a little bit too far, I say a lot about that because I'm really tired of hearing about what division it is and all of that stuff. Man, it's football. It's football. And if we walk out there together, you better be trying to win. You better be trying to beat me too, because we're certainly trying to beat you.
All right. Appreciate you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Got time for one more question. It goes to Z Tawatari.
Coach, congratulations on the win. When you think about looking forward to this week, given how much emotion and energy is spent winning a game like that, do you think that you have to recover more emotionally or physically going into this week as a program?
Yeah, no, I think we just have to treat compliments and criticisms the same, man. Which is what we try to program our guys to do. The emotions and all that stuff, that's more for you guys and fans and alums. Man, it's a football game. We're emotional every time we walk in the locker room together, and we have to learn to overcome those things, regardless of the rivalry, regardless of anything that might have took place. And man, we got a really good opponent coming in here for our home opener, in which our home opener we expect a better crowd than what we had last week at our home opener, because it's a chance for us to play a FCS opponent in the Southland Conference. And when we came here, we said we just didn't want to be leading the SWAC. We want to be leading the FCS, and this can start that opportunity while others play SWAC games and other things. And so it's a great chance for us to put ourselves back on the FCS map with an opponent like this, regardless of how long they've been playing football. They got a lot of good stuff, man. They got brand new facilities. They got really good coaches. They got good players. And so we're going to have to certainly put our best game plan together for a really good opponent.
Coach Jackson, we sincerely appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you. Go Panthers.
Thank you. All right, next we go over to Texas Southern and Coach Dishman. Once again, if you do have questions, we ask you please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. I do believe that we have Coach Dishman with us. Good morning, Coach. I think you might be on mute, Coach.
Hey, gentlemen. How y'all doing?
Good. We can hear you now. Apologies for the delay. I know we're running behind schedule, but thank you for taking time to join us. Coach, if you could start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's season opener versus Prairie View A&M.
Well, it was a hard-fought battle. Prairie View ended up winning the game. They made more plays than what we did.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Hey, Coach. So coming off of a game like that with the emotions of it and how it ended, what's been the process that you've undertaken with you and your staff this week of getting your guys back up and prepared to take on a Cal team this week?
Well, even when I was playing and even when I was coaching, it's always been a 24-hour rule, no matter if you win or no matter if you lose. It's a 24-hour rule. You have to get ready for the next game. We don't have a bye, so we have to get ready for Cal. So Prairie View is over. We see them next year when we see them. My job is get our guys, our coaches, ready for Cal.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Mr. Daniels.
Coach, I want to talk about the last drive. You took 2 timeouts as the game was ending. Out of the first timeout, when your defense came back on the field, you had a safety in the middle of the field. The second timeout, they scored. You did not have a safety in the middle of the field. Was that an oversight? What was the strategy there?
Well, you just saw when you put your job on the line and you have 17, 18-year-old young men fighting and battling, things happen. Our guy made a mistake. It's probably I put it all on me. I would never blame a guy, our player. I put it all on me. So we didn't communicate well. So it's the communication issue that we have to be dealing with.
Thank you for your honesty, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody are well on campus. Mr. Cooper, Mr. Renfro, and also Mr. Richardson, your offensive side of the ball. Talk about that production as you head into Cal Berkeley to play a game.
We have a lot of offensive weapons over here. Rorion came back off of injuries, showed what he can do. You know, we have a lot of offensive weapons and we can score some points. So that's why I'm excited about it. I'm excited about our special teams. Our kicker and our punter is very good. And I'm excited about our defense. You know, we have a very good team over here. And right now, we have our 4 goals. We didn't reach our first goals, of course, to beat Prairie View in the Labor Day Classic. We did not do that. So I erased that off my board. We got other goals we have to achieve. One is to win the West. We still have that goal, and we're going to accomplish that goal.
Thank you, sir. Have a great week.
All right.
Question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Good morning, Coach.
Hey, Dr. Cavill, how are you?
I appreciate you talking about how many of the guys are doing the press conference. Great comeback. I did want to ask you a little bit about the efficiency and your thoughts on your overall team efficiency in terms of what you're able to get done in that game. Team looked pretty good in terms of your quarterback play, in terms of key moments, being able to get things done. But how do you grade the overall team from that perspective?
It's easy to grade when you lose. It's harder to grade when you win. So,
I understand.
coaches are more the grades when you lose. You more give them more C's and D's, stuff like that. But when you win, it's hard to grade someone like that. I think offensively we played we played good enough to win. Defensively we should have made some better adjustments. Our special teams. We have some dynamic weapons over there, possibly get a score. The main goal was to score on special teams, have a score on special teams, have two scores on offense, and have a score on defense. And I thought 28 points can help us win in the game.
Great point. I have to use that framework in the classroom. I appreciate that strategy, Coach.
Next question goes to Zach.
Coach Dishman, you guys played a tremendous game, even though it wasn't the result that you may have wanted. How much of the positive do you carry into practice and what you talk to your players about this week as you get ready for Cal?
We're facing a very tough opponent next week. And I told our players after the game, shake it off, go home, sulk, do all your sulking now. When you come back here on Sunday and Monday, get ready to play Cal. So that's where we are. We're just got out of meetings. We're ready to play Cal.
Last two questions. First one goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach Dishman, how you doing this morning?
Hey, Doc.
How can you give a grade for your defense, especially on the last play of the game? But what kind of grade would you give your defense overall against Prairie View?
Well, like I said, when you put your job into 17, 18-year-old young men, student athletes, things happen. They're allowed to make mistakes. I know people, they should have done this, we should have done this. Everyone makes mistakes, and I'm okay with that. All right, we have a great team over here. We've got a great bunch of young men who's fighting to do what? To win games. We didn't win that game, but we have 10 other games to win.
All right, appreciate you, Coach.
Last question goes to Terrence Harris.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
How you doing, Terrence?
All right. Hey, just wanted to get your assessment of how KJ played and kind of what are you going to be looking for from him this week as you move forward?
Well, KJ is who we thought he was. KJ is KJ. He's a very mature young man. He loves football. He understands the game of football, and having him on our team that's what's the promising part of having him on our team, and we not have to face it.
Okay, thanks,
Coach. We sincerely appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right, gentlemen, have a great one.
Thank you. All right, next we go over to Southern University. Once again, if you do have questions, we ask you please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Coach Graves, first and foremost, apologies for the confusion there with your time slot. We're 10 minutes behind, so our schedule has been off. So we do apologize for the delay in getting with you. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing great, Coach. Appreciate your patience with us. Coach, if you could start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing versus Mississippi Valley State.
Well, we went on the road up to Itabena, Mississippi, to take on Mississippi Valley in their home opener. I thought the guys did a great job in terms of adjusting. We had an idea of what they were going to try to do in terms of schematics. However, defensively, they changed up a lot of the things that we saw the coordinator do at a previous institution. So hats off to the coaches and the players for making the in-game adjustments and giving us an opportunity to come out with the win. We definitely gotta. There's some things that we have to clean up, in terms of ball security. We gave them 10 points because we just didn't protect the football. We got to execute definitely better. We missed some throws, some wide open guys, and then we have to tackle better. We definitely have to tackle better. But all those things are correctable, and we certainly glad to get the win, to come out with the win. And as I said, I'm happy that we got the win, but we have to definitely correct those things going forward.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Hey, Coach Graves, good morning to you. So first off, what's the status of Jalen Woods? And then also, Coach, as you guys get ready for Alabama State this week, given their performance, what are some of the keys that you guys are working on and stressing with your defense ahead of that game this Saturday?
Well, Jalen he's doing okay. He's doing well. He came back with the team on Saturday. He was released actually before the game was over. So we thank God for him being okay in terms of that. And of course, he has to go through the protocol to try to get back. Whenever he feels up to it and he passes those concussion protocol tests. In terms of Alabama State has a really good football team. They played well last week against UAB, and so we have to clean up the things that we need to do in terms of our fits defensively. We have to fit. We have to tackle well. Like I said, today we will go out and we'll spend. We had a good practice yesterday, and we'll go out today and we'll emphasize those things that we need to correct. We dropped a number of interceptions. I think we dropped almost 5 interceptions. So when you get a chance to take the ball away, you have to take the ball away and and put the game out. And then offensively, of course, we have to make the throws that we need to make. We have to uh, ball security is crucial and key, and then we have to be able to put teams away. Can't let teams hang around and make a game out of it. So we improved in the kicking game. We had a big block punt. We had some great returns. I thought we did well on kickoff cover. Overall, we've improved from week 1 to week 2 in that phase of the game, and that was good to see. And guys were excited about that. So we have to be prepared to be ready to go and play against a really good football team. We're excited to be at home, our first home game, the Coach Pete Richardson Classic, and we're excited. We're going to honor the 1995 national championship team. So we're excited and we're ready to go. Get ready to go for a really good Alabama State team who's coming in.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck this week at home in that home opener.
Thank you.
This question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How you doing?
Super fantastic, Coach. Coach, it's been a reoccurring theme last year and early on this year that, the team doesn't look very good at times, but they win. How do you change the cosmetics of it? What do you do to make this team execute the way that we all believe they can?
Well, you just have to keep working at it. There's some when you're playing with new people and you're going through some growing pains, you have to just work at it. You have to be consistent, and the guys have to really lock in and focus and trust the system, trust what we're doing, and don't try to do anything outside the system. Let the game come to you and just do what we ask them to do. And when you do that, that allows you to have a chance of success, a great chance for success. But at the end of the day, the guys have been resilient. And certainly we want to play the game cleaner early and often. And it's just a process. You're dealing with young men that have to play with new people at times, and you just have to continue to stay consistent. Like I tell them all the time, repetition is the key to all learning. And so we have to be consistent and have to be repetitive of teaching those things, coaching those things, demanding those things for our guys in order for us to be better from game to game, week to week.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
This question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach Graves, I hope you're well. Talk a little bit about the rushing game there at Southern. Mr. Gabriel, Mr. Franklin, Mr. McCoy, Holly, the guys really established the run, and we've been able to see that for the last few weeks as you head back into Mumford to host Alabama State.
Yeah, well, I said at the beginning it was going to be running back by committee, and that's a good problem to have. Those guys did a really good job for the most part. Again, the ball security deal, was unacceptable. We can't have that. We have to secure the football. We gave, like I said, that was a 10-point swing when we turned the ball over and made the game and kept Valley in the ball game. And so we got the little things, ball security. We have to secure the football. Guys are running hard. Guys are getting positive yards to rush for 200 plus yards. Is hats off to those guys, but we still have to be detailed about the details so that we can not put ourselves in a position to be in a battle. We have to make sure that we are always conscious of securing that football and making sure that we're doing what we're supposed to do.
All right, Coach. Good luck in that home opener.
Thank you.
This question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. I was going to ask about the running game because I was amazed with back-to-back 200-yard games, particularly with a different back carrying it. But since that's been answered, I won't rehash that. So I asked you from a defensive perspective in terms of your defensive backs, giving up some passing yards there, if you would. And you talked about a couple of interceptions that you had your hands on that you didn't able to get and how that is affecting you. Look forward to this defense coming in with a lot of different people talking about it. Are there some concerns there, or is that just some things that you'll continue to work through in practice and think that it'll turn around?
Well, yeah, we got some new guys on the outside, and so those guys are getting acclimated and adjusted to what we're doing. Sometimes I think we got to continue to work in terms of our communication when we're playing man coverage. That's something that we've been harping on and we'll continue to harp on, that we have to make sure that we communicate and understand. Everybody has to know. It can't be one guy saying, hey, let's switch. One guy saying switch, one guy saying lock. And now, in essence, you got guys running wide open. Can't have that. And so we definitely, it's something that we're working on, continue to work on, so as those guys get more comfortable together with one another. And then, the interceptions, we gotta take the ball away. And I mean, it wasn't, the thing about those balls were probably two of those balls were probably pick sixes if we catch them and run with them. But we got to be opportunistic and we got to take the ball away. When you have an opportunity to get 4 or 5 interceptions, we have to do that. We got some fumbles, but we have to, like I told one of the guys, I said, man, you probably would be leading the country in interceptions if you just catch the football. So we're gonna work on that hand-eye coordination, seeing the ball, making sure you secure the football, and finishing. We just got to finish. When you do that, you take the football away. Then of course, that helps you defensively. That helps you offensively. And then if you have leads, that protects the lead because that's what you want to do. You want to get takeaways. Takeaways increases your chances for winning ball games.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
This question goes to Keisha Kelly. Next question goes to Keisha Kelly.
Uh-oh. Hey, Coach.
Hey, Keisha, how are you?
I'm good. I'm sorry, I was muting and unmuting. So you talked about the penalties that y'all have to clean up. And we saw what Alabama State did this past weekend. What are y'all doing to clean up those penalties? And is any concern with this Alabama State team that you're focused on?
Well, with penalties, you got to go back to you got to make them lock in and focus. And then we actually do penalty running. So we run for every penalty that we get. Of course, sometimes they're going to be, if on defense, for example, if a guy's being aggressive and he gets a pass interference call and it's questionable. I mean, that's guys going to have to compete and challenge balls. So I mean, that could go either way. But the pre-snap penalties we can't have, and so that's concentration. In terms of holding calls and things of that nature, we got to continue to stress the fundamentals of getting your hands and feet in the right place. Of course, we definitely can't have any face mask penalties. That's just hands out in the wrong place and things of that nature. Just got to stress making sure that we're doing those things the right way. And of course, like I said, we do penalty running. So, you know, if we have 5 penalties, we're going to run. You know, if we got 10, we're going to run. So those things, just getting those guys focused on being detailed about the details of what we're doing. Alabama State's a good football team. They play, like I said, they played the game really well last week. Came up on the short end, could have gone either way, and they do a good job on both sides of the ball. So I know they got some things they need to work on, and we certainly have things we need to work on. And so we'll practice and prepare this week to put a great game plan on to put on a good show here at home.
All right. Well, good luck this weekend, Coach, and send me one of those football shirts you got on.
Thank you.
Last question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach Graves, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
I'm doing good. That took one of the questions away from me, just to see how Jalen Woods was doing after the hit, but focus more on the run defense. You gave up 2.5 yards per carry against Valley, but also for your run offense, both your running backs fumbled the ball at crucial times. What is the things you want to try to do to clean up that the fumbling, but also what is the things you want to try to improve on the run defense?
Well, run defense, you know, we always work on fits and things of that nature. The quarterback scrambled for the most part, and he hurt us scrambling because we were running line games and things of that nature. In terms of lining up and just running the football, defense played well. We improved from week 1 to week 2. We had some great goal line stances. We had some great fourth down stops. So I'm not concerned in terms of that. My concerns is now that we have to make sure that we're doing when we have an athletic quarterback and we're rushing the passer, that we're rushing under control. Guys are making sure that the gaps, and then we have to do some things schematically to combat a scrambling quarterback. Ball security. We work ball security every day in practice, and we just got to continue to put an emphasis on it. Like I said, it's unacceptable to have 2 fumbles that turn into 10 points. So, those guys understand and know we discussed it. We talked about it. We worked on it yesterday. We'll work on it again today in the course of the week. They just got to focus. You can't go on power with one hand. You got to have 2 hands. Just the fundamental things. I mean, it's nothing that we don't coach and we don't stress. Now they just have to be cognizant of it and making sure that we're doing what we need to do to make sure that we don't have those fumbles. Because again, that was a 10-point swing that we shouldn't have just based on protecting the football. And we put a huge emphasis on protecting the football.
Appreciate you, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Coach, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right, thank you. Go Jags.
Thank you. All right, next we go over to Jackson State and Coach T.C. Taylor. Once again, if you do have any questions for Coach, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. I do see that we have several questions already in the queue, so please limit your questions to one initial question. If we've got time, we'll follow up for follow-up questions. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Taylor. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How y'all doing?
Doing great, Coach, and thank you as always for taking time to join us. Coach, if you could start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's season opener versus Hampton.
It's like you said, season opener this past weekend, playing at home in the Vet. Solid win for our football team, playing against a solid opponent in Hampton. They came out and they played scrappy throughout 4 quarters of football. They made us work for it. But very proud of our football team. We went out there and responded when we need to. Created a few extra plays to separate late in the game, but hats off to Hampton and their program. They really came out and competed for 4 quarters, but very excited where we are as a program right now. Looking forward to going down to Hattiesburg this week, against Coach Huff and Southern Miss, a well-coached football team, a new football team. I think he has close to 70 players on that team, so they took a tough loss this past weekend against Mississippi State, and I know they're looking to get on the winning track, but we had a good practice today, and we're looking forward to it, the challenge this weekend.
Appreciate those opening comments. Coach, first question goes to Ty Miller.
Coach Taylor, good afternoon to you. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, Coach. You just mentioned Southern Mississippi. So What's the preparation like going from a team you're in the same classification with, like Hampton, as opposed to one that you are an underdog against? Meaning, does intensity for the players and coaches increase going into this game?
Definitely, you talk about a big in-state, two teams that from in-state, the state of Mississippi. FBS opponent we're looking forward to, and they're only about 45 minutes down Highway 49. So the players here know a lot of players there, and vice versa. I know Coach Huff and some other coaches on their staff. It's going to be a great atmosphere. You know, a lot of fans are talking about showing up on both sides. So we got to put our best foot forward and go out there and prepare these guys and get them ready to play football this weekend. We opened up with a great scout team meeting this morning, you know, preparing for Southern Miss, but they got some size over there. Got some really good players. The quarterback is electric. He really leads that football team. So we got to bring our A game when we go down 49 this weekend.
Thank you, Coach.
No problem.
Next question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Hey, Coach Taylor, how's everything?
It's good. How you doing, Wayne?
Doing well. So, Coach, this week, Jacobian Morgan, your quarterback, he was 15 out of 30. He had some pressure on him and things like that. I want to ask, though, was that basically a combination of Hampton, what they were doing defensively, or is that part of still the development that has to go with cohesion between himself and the receiving core?
I think it's a little bit of both. Like I said, hats off to Hampton. They really came out and played their butts off on Saturday against us. But Jacoby, you know, he has to play a little better. You know, 15 to 30 wasn't bad, but we got to be a lot better than that. He has some opportunities to push the ball down the field to some guys on the perimeter for us, and he missed a throw to Jonas Fertillion. If you think about it, Shamar Savage, if he catches that ball, that's probably an 85, 90-yard touchdown. So, yeah, I think they got to continue to, you know, work hard in practice, develop that relationship, develop timing, and he has to continue to get better each and every week. You know, going into a game like this, he has to play well in order for us to do have some explosive plays on offense. We ran the ball well over 300 yards, but we got to have those throws down the field.
All right, Coach. Good luck down there in Hattiesburg this week.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody at Jackson State are well. Mr. Miller, 10 carries, 172. He got in the box twice. Talk about his contribution. He can run, and he'd be looking to run downhill down in the hub this week. But tell us a little bit about Miller.
He's a guy that's been around here. You know, he came here a couple years ago, and he played as a true freshman. We knew what type of guy we had in Ahmad Miller here at running back. But, you know, the injury bug has been, you know, kind of plaguing him. But when he's healthy, he's explosive. You talk about well over 200-pound back, well over 6 feet, and can fly. He showed that this past weekend. We've been seeing it all in camp, and I just been telling him, if you can stay healthy, that's what's going to be key for you, you know, as a football player, and you mean a lot to this program. He's an every down back. You know, he doesn't mind blocking. He can catch the ball well, and just seeing him run the ball the way he ran on Saturday, it was, you know, a pleasure to see.
Good luck this week down in the hub.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Morning, Perry. How you doing?
I'm well, Coach. Coach, you're absolutely right. This Hampton team played really tough. Do you think that is a result of Jackson State now being the hunted and no longer the hunter? Do you expect that all season from HBCUs, and how do you deal with it?
Well, yeah, we definitely, you know, everybody wants to, you know, win against Jackson State, but everybody has one goal across the board also, too. They want to play in December, want to win a SWAC championship, want to win a divisional championship, want to win a Celebration Bowl, you know, and that's how we approach it. You know, we're going to get everybody's best because of what we did last year, but not only that, because they want it too. You know what I mean? These teams want to win a championship. Hampton came in here to make a statement. You know, they're coming from a different conference, and they wanted to beat so-called the best in the SWAC when you talk about Jackson State. That's why I know they played the way they played us this weekend. They were well coached, well prepared, and they came out and played with maximum effort. But everybody is chasing one thing right now, and that's to be playing in December.
Absolutely. Thank you, Coach. Good luck. Way to handle that this weekend.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
This question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach TC, how you doing today?
I'm good, Doc. Good to hear from you.
Man, first of all, couldn't stay long. It was too hot for me, and had to get some food. But coming in, first and foremost, how do you feel about Aubrey? I mean, not Aubrey, but Ahmad Miller coming into the game and running the way that he ran, where he could have had over 200 yards. Of course, if the grass didn't trip him up, and then finding Quincy Ivory, the QB killer, that's what they call him, with the 2 sacks against Hampton, and also with Donovan Warren, the way that he punted the ball, flipping the field, and one of the longest punts he had was 62 yards. Give me your opinions about those 3.
You know, those were all 3 guys that we had big question marks. By the way, I would love to still have Aubrey Miller around here too, but those are 3 guys we had big question marks going out into this game. Starting with Quincy, anytime you lose Josh Nobles, you know, he transferred, he's at UMass now. We was kind of concerned how will we be able to get to the passer, to the quarterback, and he went out there and he did it. You know, he played well. They put him in some different schemes, some different areas in the defense, and he lit it up. You know, he had, I think, a couple sacks out there. He played with high effort, high energy. So I was very pleased to see Quincy step up like that. Going to the punting position, anytime you lose an All-American and Matt Knoll, you know, that's a huge question mark. And we had Donovan was on our team last year backing up Matt. So he saw how important it was to flip the field, pin offenses back, because we take pride on, you know, offenses driving the football on us, and he went out there and did that. And like you said, the long one he had, he played up to the expectation we expect of him each and every day, you know, with him being a senior. So all 3 guys, you know, all 3 guys stepped up. Miller, like I said, I can't say enough good things about that kid there. He deserves everything that's coming his way right now. The O-line blocked well for him, and he just went out there and ran hard. He's been a no-nonsense guy all summer, though. Hadn't been talking a lot. He's just been working. He's doing the extra stuff on the field when we're off. He's still out there, you know, taking the extra steps in the weight room and stuff like that. So now it's just translating on the football field for him. So I'm proud of all 3.
All right. Appreciate you, Coach.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Time for 2 more questions. First one goes to Dr. Cavill.
Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Good afternoon, Coach Taylor.
How you doing, Doc?
Doing well. Got a chance to watch part of the game, specifically in the second half. For me, what was key when you talk about a team that is champion, responding as a champion, and coming in for many people's rankings, including ours, is number 1, putting that bullseye on you all, is the fact that you, when Hampton tied the game 14-14, you had a huge 13-play, 80-yard drive, eating up 5 minutes on the clock. Talk about how significant that was, and then the defense did their part to kind of seal it with the interception, and then obviously the big run for 76 yards to certainly seal it.
Yeah, I mean, the championship teams, that's what I told those guys. Championship teams find a way to respond. You know, we had to go out there and find a way to take the momentum away from Hampton. You know, they went down and threw the touchdown pass, and they had the momentum on the other sideline. But I told them, I said, you know, players are going to make plays. So, you know, we need guys to go out here, just execute the plays. We're going to get up the field, get on the field. We're going to line up fast, and we're going to go out here and score, you know, and that's what they basically did. But champions find a way. You know, those guys went out there and executed. We had a couple quick passes here to Nate Rembert, a couple quick passes to Jonas. They turned them into, you know, some first downs for us. And that was an emphasis for me when I talked to them at the half. The defense spent so much time, Doc, on the football field in that first half. And I told them if we just able to generate some third downs in this second half and give those guys a breather and find ways to score points and separate, we're going to win this football game. And those guys went out there and responded.
Thank you, Coach. Look forward to seeing you take the number 1 HBCU ranking and top 25 ranking down on the road to Southern Miss.
All right. Thank you, Doc. Appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Last question goes to Ty Miller.
Hey, Coach, again, it's Ty with this question about Southern Mississippi. There's a feeling that there's the margin of separation between Southern Miss and Jackson State on the field is not that great. And if Morgan plays and is on his A game, is there a feeling that something special could happen in this game?
That's any game we play. We're going to win. You know, we're looking forward to it. But kind of to echo what you're saying, we recruited a lot of those players. You know, not the ones that came over from Marshall, but they have some guys that we were recruiting that you know, we wanted on this football team, but didn't, you know, have the space for a couple of them. But we both were in recruiting battles on a lot of those players. So we're playing with a similar roster. You know, they may have more scholarships down there being an FBS program, but we still have some similar guys, similar body types down there. And I think this game's gonna come down to, you know, you got two high-level quarterbacks on both sides of the football field, and whichever one plays better, you know, that'll be the team that's going to win this football game.
All right, thanks, Coach.
No problem.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right, thank you guys. Appreciate you.
This concludes our SWAC football head coaches media session for Tuesday, September 2nd. As a reminder, all SWAC football head coaches media sessions are archived on the SWAC digital network and SWAC TV. Thank you.